back and forth. Number one, define for me and for the audience green jobs. Can you explain to some of them, and maybe we can get it in the presentation, what are green jobs? Because we hear it a lot, it's everywhere, but maybe they don't realize exactly what that means.
My definition of a green job is a job that is newly created that works at decreasing carbon emissions. So carbon dioxide, global warming, pollution that is given off. So different sectors of the economy do that. So you have transportation, you have energy production. Those are the two major chunks. So how can we put people back to work, and what kind of jobs, or what the jobs that we put people back to work in, by decreasing those two emission categories. Does that make sense?
Very good, thank you, thank you. Okay, this next question is for Deacon Taylor. Number 2, do you think green jobs are just a popular political issue, or do you think that they will really benefit our economy?
I think it could go both ways. I think that politicians absolutely have the opportunity to make it into a political issue, but we've been working on this planet for thousands of years now, and green jobs have been around all along. Everything about this process is taking the next step. So it's not about completely revamping the system. It's making that small journey, one step at a time. You can't get from here to the end of the earth in one step. You've got to make little steps along the way. And I think it's a process of learning and educating and making the public aware of what we have the capability of as our nation. I mean, it's our voice, it's our choice. So let's take action individually, and I applaud the audience and everyone for taking time out of their own day for being here, because that's the first step. Educate yourself.
Great. You could have said it better. That is absolutely where everything lies to begin with. We need to get educated. We hear about it, we hear it, and then we go on with our day because we think it doesn't affect us. But unless we take a moment to educate ourselves and start realizing that it's going to affect us, we need to act now. And yes, I am so happy that we're all here today trying to educate ourselves and learn more about this. And hey, Robert is the man. He's taking applications for work. And there's, right now, that was music to my ears. I'm very interested to hear more about it because there's a lot of people without jobs right now. I don't know if you've been watching the news. I hope you have, because, I work in news. And okay, let's go to item number 3. This question is for Assemblyman Mo Dennis. Question for you is, what needs to be done in our legislature and at the local level to make sure that green jobs are brought to our community?
I think that one of the things that the legislature needs to do is provide opportunities in the different, we obviously have several projects that the state does, provide opportunities there. I know that we've given some incentives to businesses to do green building. With the current situation in the budget, the way that we are now, I don't know that we have the ability to do the incentives, but I think if we set as a priority, the legislature we can legislate, how much of our power needs to come from renewables, because that makes a big difference. If we require more power to be, then that means we need more projects. So that means that that's going to provide for those jobs and an opportunity for green to be able to expand. And I think that just as as legislators in the different things that we legislate, we just need to take that into consideration and provide and make it easier for us to be able to do things. And then we also need to look at the economic value. While in the past they said it always cost too much to implement this technology, but we're seeing now that as more and more people use it, the costs are coming down. And so just providing opportunities for the technology to continue so that we can continue to increase our usage of green power and green lifestyles.
So what can someone like myself, a regular resident of our community, how can the resident can help our local leaders push this type of legislature that's needed for us to get that?
Well, obviously, we need to hear from our constituents. You know, if our constituents don't care, we don't hear from them. But we hear from others that say, you know, it makes it hard because we're trying to represent our constituents, and we do listen to what, you know, people have to say. If everyone said this is what we want, then we would do that. If we didn't have a real groundswell, then when we have to make decisions, we may not listen as much. Although there are those of us that think that this is important no matter what, we're going to make that decision because we know it's the right thing, that it'll benefit our constituents. But you know, those of the constituents that understand this issue need to really speak up and help educate everybody else so that they can, you know, then talk to us about it also.
So basically, I need to find out if you're my assemblyman in my district and reach out to you.
Yeah, just a phone call or an email or whatever, just saying, you know, this is an important issue to us, you know, and maybe even, you know, try to have a discussion with your assemblyperson or senate.
So let's take responsibility as residents of this community, and instead of focusing on what we don't have, let's find out, let's do our own homework as well. Let's stop pointing the finger and taking some action and responsibility. Let's find out who's our assemblyman and what district I belong to, and let's make that phone call. Let's get that email out and let them know what it is that our concerns are, and let's talk to them about great jobs.
And one other thing, because we are in election season right now, it's important to talk to those that are running and get them to talk to you about it now, what they're going to do when they get elected, because you have a lot of power right now. Once we're elected, then we go and we do what we have to do. But you know, if we do it while on the campaign trail, it gets us thinking about it.
So this is the time, no better time than now, to get a hold of them and to raise these issues. That is great, and with that in mind, I'm going to deviate for a second. If people are sitting here, if you didn't run into the nice lady at the front that was wanting you to register to vote, remember, if you're a registered voter, great, I'm very happy, but if you know someone that's not a registered voter, reach out to that person. Don't say because, oh, I'm registered, it doesn't matter. I know people that are not registered to vote. I'm pushing them. Hey, don't forget, let me go get that application. Look, they're taking applications here. Look, there's going to be a drive to register. Please, this is so important. If you want things to change, you want your voice to be heard, please register to vote.